Okay, we are recording now. I need you to acknowledge that you know that this is being recorded and that you know it will be broadcast on the internet.
I acknowledge that.
Okay, and your name is?
Shalandra Jones.
Okay. Shalandra, we're obviously talking about a police stop that happened in Dearborn, Michigan in August of 2011, correct? Or was that 2012?
13.
No?
No, 2012.
2012,
Yeah.
okay. I was going to say, it wasn't 2013 because that would have been too soon ago.
Yeah.
You were the person who was stopped. Can you talk a little bit about what happened in that stop?
Well, I was a passenger driving along Michigan Avenue, August the 3rd, and we had a broken tail light. And so that was basically the nature of the stop. When we got pulled over, the officer approached the car and said that he smelled marijuana. And so he asked, was there any marijuana in the car? And I said yes. He said, hand it over to me, and I did that. From that point on, he also asked, had anyone smoked marijuana previously in the car? Now, the driver had been in the car prior to picking me up from work. And so, obviously, the driver acknowledged that that was something that he had did prior to picking me up. So he asked the driver to step out the car, and he put the driver in handcuffs and handcuffed him. And later on, along in that process, he came to me and asked me, was there any more marijuana in the car? And I told him no. And he proceeded back into the police car. Then he came back and he asked me to step out the car, that he wanted to check the car. So he checks the car, and he found nothing, but he did come across my purse, and he went inside my purse and he found HIV medicine. I carried that medicine in my purse because I needed to be better with taking it on time. So that's the reason why I carry it. So when he asked me what was those pills for, I told him those pills were for HIV. I was HIV positive. And at that moment, his words was, "You just pissed me off." And I asked him why, because I didn't understand why would that piss him off, me being HIV positive. And so he went on to say that he had a family and he didn't want to take anything home to his children and his wife. And at that moment, I realized that this was something that was not supposed to be happening to me. So he found some other meds in my purse, which were vitamins, but they were prenatal vitamins. He asked me, was I pregnant? He just asked me questions that I thought were not questions that were pertaining to the purpose of the stop. So he asked me to step outside the car, and once he asked me to step outside the car, like I said, he proceeded to check the car and found nothing. After that process, he then asked me did I have a medical marijuana card, and I did tell him yes. He said, why didn't you tell me that? And at that moment, it really didn't dawn on me to say I have this medical marijuana card, because for one, I was nervous, not because of the marijuana that I had, but because of his demeanor once he found out about my status. And so he just basically, I felt scolded. I felt like I was getting in trouble for being HIV positive. And it made me feel terrible that he would say, I don't want to take anything home. I have children. I also have children at home. And I do have a granddaughter who I love very much. And I would never put them in jeopardy, let alone anyone else, as far as this HIV thing. So he basically said I wasn't writing any tickets. He said I wasn't going to write any tickets into this HIV thing. And so it just went downhill from there. I mean, he said a lot of things that he shouldn't have said. And at that moment, sitting on that police car in 90-degree weather for 40 to like at least 20 minutes, I felt humiliated, and I felt like I felt like it was 2001 again, because when I became HIV positive, that was the most hardest news to take. And so by him saying those things to me, it took me back, all the way back there. Like, I started off never coming outside. I was very ashamed of who I was.
Um, as you know, as a reporter, I got a hold of the dashboard cam, and we put that out on the internet. What happened after that went public?
Wow. Um, I got phone calls from people who I haven't talked to in years. I mean, emails, everything. Things changed. I didn't want to come outside. I really did not want to come outside. I felt ashamed.
You felt ashamed again when the story came out?
I felt ashamed. I've never, like I said, in the beginning, this HIV was not something that I was public with. But as I got better with dealing with it, I had no problem with doing that because it helped other people. But when he said those things to me that I replay back in my mind on a daily, I go and Google myself on a daily because I'm never really had a chance to say how I feel. And to Google myself, it had two effects on me. It took an effect where it made me not want to come outside because people knew who I was and people knew who I was dealing with, but everybody did not know who I was and what I was dealing with. I had a few people that knew, and I thought that I would be able to handle it, but it brought back all those fears of people pointing, people talking, going places saying my name, and people say, "Oh, you're Shalandra Jones." And me having to stand there and say, "Yes, I am Shalandra Jones." So at some point I had to make up in my mind, was I going to fold or was I going to stand up for myself and other people that this man said. If you're not HIV positive, you don't know. You don't know the mental strain that this brings on a person.
So, what got you to keep going?
My kids, my grandbaby, positive people that I had in my circle to tell me that they told me that I needed to take a stand, but I knew in my heart the whole time that I had to fix it, that I had to say, look, no matter who you are, what color you are, what your gender is, we should not have to be stigmatized by anyone, let alone an authority figure, someone that you're supposed to run to and feel safe. When I'm driving, I have license, but when I'm driving, I'm nervous. I'm afraid to be pulled over because I don't know if I should tell. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm afraid.
But are you glad you took the stand?
I'm very proud of myself for doing that. Because in 2001, I was just this scared woman living with HIV. Where I gained some strength. And I knew that whoever saw that videotape, whoever read my story, who was not confident in themselves and being HIV positive, I knew that at some point somebody would look at that and say, you know what? If she can stand up for herself, I can stand up for myself. And that's what I need people to do. Stand up for themselves.
So obviously this is for Pause Magazine. So what would you say to people who are newly diagnosed today with HIV? What is your big message for them today?
I would say be strong. Know that you are somebody, even though that you are HIV positive. You lose no points being HIV positive. Live life the way you're supposed to live life, and just stand up for yourself. Take my story. I tell everybody, take my story and tell the world, and the world knows now. But that's because I want, especially women, we're not made to stand up for ourselves. But I've been made to stand up for myself, and I want others to stand up for themselves.
Anything you want to add before I end the interview?
I just want to say how very, very thankful I am to Paul and Josh. I'm 41 years old, and I never in my life had anybody help me fight for what was right. I'm so forever grateful. So I want to thank you guys, and I'm so sorry, but this is so raw and so real. And that I appreciate you too, Todd. I really do. Because this is going to change something. And I feel that in my heart. So I'm thankful that God put these people in my life. And I will forever be thankful. And I will always fight for people living with HIV. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you.